against the board.
Sarah.
Oh, Sarah, yeah.
Thank you so much. I got to get my puppy. Did you get my message?
Yeah, but I can't call you that late at night.
He needs to have it.
That's hilarious.
If I don't get it, then I can make sure. I don't want to take you off baby time, you know? I don't need when you're young on baby.
I thought you meant.
No.
No, the opposite.
I don't want you to come after baby. That, Mario, I don't think we're allowed of it. Because it's so many, like,
Did you see Karen Viper from Sept?
yeah.
No. He's not a shepherd.
That's what I said. Oh.
Like I wrote myself.
Because he doesn't understand. She is. She's like that because he's going to get like all. That's the problem. He doesn't understand. Why do you think that's coming? Why are you trying to do that? A woman. He's twisted it around. That's fine.
Something put me here. This way here, you have buffer for when you're really bad.
That's why there's two rows between, there's one between us and Jeff.
Hey, wait, I'm not on fire.
No, you're not on fire. Brian will protect me. Yeah. There's a seat over in the front.
Come to the head of the class, Naomi.
And we knew it was going to get crazy, that's why we're right. I'll take the card. Why should she change? Why should she work at Oh. I know she takes that piece? Oh, I'm trying.
She doesn't care if I took the one and bring a trickle for that. Felt like you see anything.
Okay, the time is now 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this town of Plainfield Board of Selectmen meeting to order for September 8th. And ask you please rise to the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and roll call.
All right, Kay.
Becky Glory.
Okay, on the item C, there is no minutes in your packet for the 28th, so I'd ask you please consider taking action on the Board of Selectmen meeting for 8/25/25.
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for 8/25/25.
I have some additions to it. On number 5, where it says you discussed and act on the qualification bids, I did say at that time that the reason that I abstained was because I just got the 6-inch packet 10 minutes before that. And the same with number 6. I had no time to even look at the bids at all, because again, handed the packet 10 minutes before the meeting. So I want that read into the record. Oh, it wasn't, I said it during the meeting, so it's not reflected in the minutes.
I'll amend my motion.
And I'll second
Add
it.
that.
Okay, with the amendment, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item D, public comment. Anybody here wish to speak to the public, wish to speak to the Board of Selectmen, please do so. Make sure that for the record, though, you can get your name to us so we can record it properly.
Mario Arriaga, Chief of Police. I want to address the recent decision to order a forensic audit of the police department. Transparency and accountability are values I've always stood by, and I welcome any fair and professional review of our operations. However, I feel it's important to ask a direct question on behalf of myself, the officers, and the residents we serve. Are the first selectman and the finance director accusing me or anyone of this department of fraud or embezzlement? Because that is exactly what this action implies. Let's be clear, a forensic audit is not routine bookkeeping. It is an extraordinary step taken when there are suspicions of fraud, theft, or embezzlement. An audit of this magnitude sends a message, whether intended or not, that the Plainfield Police Department cannot be trusted with public money. That suggestion is insulting, it's damaging, and undermines the credibility of the men and women who dedicate their lives to serving this town. If there are specific allegations, I and the department deserve to know them openly. To date, neither myself nor the police commissioner have been told by the first selectman or the finance director of any concerns that will warrant a forensic audit. Let me repeat that. To date, neither myself nor the police commission have been told by the first selectman or the finance director of any concerns that will warrant a forensic audit. This only comes to light after a vote of no confidence in them by the police union over payroll issues. This implication alone risks damaging not only my reputation, but the reputation of the department and the trust that we have worked so hard to build with this community. To leave this implication hanging over the department is irresponsible and unfair. I cannot allow the reputation of this department to be diminished by unaddressed doubts. Clear answers are necessary, and the people of Plainfield deserve nothing less. Our officers serve this community with integrity every day, and their work should not be overshadowed by speculation. Transparency would not only protect this department's credibility, but also reinforce the trust our residents have in us. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, Paul Sweet, 260 New Road, moves up Connecticut, Mass. I'm here tonight as I looked at this number 4. The first time I saw the word forensic was in the New London Day, mentioned by the current finance director, Kelly Vashon. You shouldn't use words like that in the press if you don't know what they mean. A forensic audit involves using accounting, auditing, investigative skills to examine financial records in order to detect, prevent fraud, provide expert legal testimony, support litigation. Professionals in this field often investigate financial crimes like corporate fraud or embezzlement and use their findings in court cases as expert witnesses. To become a forensic accountant, a bachelor's degree in accounting is the first step, often followed by experience and certifications like Certified Public Accountant, CPA, or Certified Fraud Examiner. Looking at your agenda tonight, something that's so simple as payroll has turned into something more than it really needs to be. I would like you to use some common sense as board. You get chief of police, you get the finance director, you get in the room, you talk this out. This is adult conversation that needs to be had. This can get worked out because you're going down a path where you're going to get sued. Not only the town, but individual people. Defamation of character is not the right thing to do. Ruining somebody's reputation is not the right thing to do. Under section 4-1I of the Plainfield Town Charter, you don't have the authority to investigate policy, procedure, rules and regulations of the police commission, of the police department. That falls under the police commission, under state statute. So before you spend money on this type of an audit, which is not necessary, in which you don't have authority to do, you don't have money appropriated, the Board of Finance will be put on the spot to authorize money and then be held accountable, okay? You would have to be forced to a town meeting, okay? People are going to end up having a town meeting and we're going to have problems. This needs to be snipped in the bud. There is no reason for this. There's no reason for it, Arthur. I'm talking to you, I'm talking to Peggy, I'm talking to Kevin. This needs to get fixed in-house before it becomes a big joke to the whole community. It does not need to go this far. Now, you're the first selectman. You control your house, Kevin. You take on and fix this, because this didn't come out of your mouth, this forensic idea. This is coming from someone else you have authority over. You guys need to sit down and fix this and get it over with and be done with it. It does not rise to a level of what I just read as a definition. Thank you.
Trav Harmon, Moosup, Connecticut. I'm here to talk about the ordinances, Ordinance 143, 144. I don't have a problem with 145. 143 was presented earlier this year and talking about ordinance concerning hawking, peddling, soliciting, vending. At the time, it was a hodgepodge, not very structured. It's now very structured. The problem is it is still fundamentally constitutionally flawed. One, it is still dictating out people calling. Problem is, I looked it up. There's actually a 2025 ruling in just this year, after the last hearing, that one, the FCC has delegated more to the states, but has not delegated the rights to tell people who to call at the municipal level. So the state of Connecticut could tell you. The town cannot. Second, there is no definitions of certain people. A prime example is Jeff Gray. I'm a big First Amendment person. Jeff Gray is the person on YouTube that just has a sign that says, "God bless the homeless veterans." He's been arrested multiple times for soliciting. The problem is the Supreme Court says I can solicit. If I sit on the edge of an off-ramp and say, I want $1, the Supreme Court has already said I can do it. Don't like it? Too bad. Change the Supreme Court. Worcester, Massachusetts tried to do that, failed completely out of that. On top of that, it talks about place to place. Prime example is Cumberland Farms has a traditional public venue right in the corner. The other thing is that, but it doesn't give any expression of First Amendment. There's some, we're getting there, we're about 95% right, but the problem though is that there's got to be a line in here that says, in lieu of court cases, the law, Constitution, somebody's rights. Cleaned it right up. Second of all, Ordinance 44. I think this is government overreach. All right, this is really pushing it. The biggest problem I have is fires for ceremonial and recreational purposes shall have the permission of the open burn official. Okay, Memorial Day's here. We all had the holidays. You get in there, people say, hey, I couldn't go to the lake. It's a little bit busy. So let's go have a barbecue, which is actually exempted in here, but recreationally. Who is this person? Are they getting paid? Are they available 24 hours? Do I need to pull a permit? I would like to have in my 27 brick outdoor fireplace out there, throw a few logs on there without a high burn problem. Go out there, have a good time, sit, have some brewskis. Annoy nobody. I now need to get permission from the government. Last time I checked, I don't like government overreach. I don't like the government telling me what to do. I think this is a nothing burger. 75% of this could be removed. Beyond that, what you tell me what to do with my property, go pound sand. All right, thank you.
Anybody else?
Colleen Rogowskis, Secretary, Plainfield Board of Police Commissioners, Church Street, Musa. The Board of Police Commissioners and the Plainfield Police Department value transparency and accountability, and we welcome any review that confirms our practices that align with town policies. But until now, neither the First Selectman nor the Finance Department has raised any concerns about our processing of bills and purchasing. Never to the Commission, the Police Department, or to the Board of Finance. The recent town-wide audit, we were never made aware of any issues found with that audit. The First Selectman and the Finance Department recently transferred responsibility for payroll to the department. Why would they do this if you're questioning the financial practices of this department with any validity? It's troubling that this audit was not discussed with the department or this commission until after the police union's vote of no confidence in the First Selectman. The audit scope extends into a former chief's tenure, someone who's running for selectman on the team challenging the First Selectman. The timing and scope suggest this audit has other motivations. The department has followed established procurement and financial procedures. If there are genuine concerns, we would like to address them directly. Announcing issues now without previous discussion or documented findings undermines the proper process and trust. We need to state the facts. Do we want to make sure that we're in alignment with policies for the town? Absolutely. But no issues have ever been raised before. And the timing, scope, and political context of this audit are very concerning.
Anybody else?
Joe Sangamano, 1221 Norwich Road, Plainfield, K&H Construction, K&H Tool Rental, Joey Guns, you name it, make sure it's on the camera there. We're the Police Commission, I'm chair of the Police Commission. We will be notifying you guys that no longer will the police department be dealing with you directly. From now on, you'll be going through the Police Commission to talk to the PD due to the recent events that you've had. We will also be requesting funds for legal representation of a third party. So we don't want your town lawyer representing you and us. So that will be taking place. You just want to make sure everybody understands that. I'm going to fumble through this, but kind of jerked off on this, so I want to make sure I say what I got to say right. On the meeting that we had a little while ago, I know Paul had mentioned that we should sit down and talk about this. We did. In that meeting, I asked the finance director right out about what she said in the bulletin about it, and right off the bat, she wanted to lawyer up. So we can't even talk about it with her. She has to get a lawyer, yet you guys want to do stuff to us without us having a lawyer. Well, I would piggyback off of her. I had some notes in there about the finance, nor the selectmen ever said anything to the commission or the PD about anything that was a problem. We do have problems with the payroll. We think we got that figured out, but you let us take care of that. Let's see here. A forensic audit, such as you're asking for, it just undermines the PD. Terrible. It's a terrible thing. Terrible thing to do. It's wrong. You know it's wrong. But yet you're still trying to go through with it. You never even came to the commission and talked to them about doing an audit. You guys don't make policy for the PD. You guys don't tell the PD what to do. It just doesn't work that way. The commission makes policy, and the commission can tell the PD what to do, not you guys. I've been on the commission for 8 years. Okay, last 3 or 4 as the chair. Kevin, I've been on the phone with you, sat in multiple meetings, trying to get you to work better with the chief and the PD. Other than the police officer's contract, so I'm going to be clear on this and make sure that's on too, right? We want to make sure everybody hears this. For the know-nothing big mouths on social media, I was absolutely fine with what the PD got. Those guys did good on their contract. I think that they got a good deal on that. Other than that, it's been one lie after another and backstabbing after another. Kevin, you'll know about that. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That's from you. I was told to leave out the last section. I guess really what I want to say is, I have nothing to gain in this or by any means. I have no reason to lie. I have everything to lose pretty much on this. But what's been going on with you and this PD is absolutely terrible. I don't know who's running the town. Is it you or is it Kelly? I'm not sure. Who runs the town? Do you have an answer? Nothing back on that. We figured that. I was going to change anyway as soon as we got out of here, right? All right, that's all I got to say. I can't, I do want to read it. You know, if... I've tried multiple times. I got so many hours into this. I've been on the phone. I'm about sick of it. If the people of this town only knew what you're all about, you wouldn't get a fucking vote. That I'm done, because I'm just going to get carried away.
Thank you.
Okay.
My name is Sam Darenthal. I live on Highland Street in Moosup. As someone who has overseen a payroll function, I'm just going to say that I agree. So I just wanted to mention on January 13th of this year, I followed Trav Harmon again on how Ordinance 143 infringes on our residents' First Amendment rights. Which, from the draft I have, and because we didn't read it out loud last time, I still don't exactly know if what I have is the draft that will be approved tonight or voted on tonight. Trav referenced Supreme Court precedent like Watchtower versus Stratton in 2002, where they struck down a very similar ordinance that required a resident to get a permit before approaching their neighbors. As we discuss it tonight, I would really encourage us to read the ordinances, especially one with a lot of debate about it. I think that's just what we can do. It's just very good practice. And I have a few questions on the copy that I have. So again, this might not be the right one. So what are the criteria for approval of a license? There's a list stating of what is needed for the license, but it doesn't really say what the criteria are. So if there's a physical description that you provide that shows that you're under 6 feet tall, does that mean you don't get the license? If it is that you drive a blue car, one that's more than 6 years old, does that disqualify you from getting a license? If you were convicted or you pled guilty to some speeding tickets, trafficking drugs, or selling bootleg CDs out of the back of your trunk, do you not get a license? Or is the nature of the goods, wares, and merchandise the thing that could stop you? Is it okay to sell a Bible but not solar panels? Will I be denied if I want to sell my used gym socks? Why can farmers go door to door and sell their milk, tea, spices, but not my gym socks? Why are people under the age of 18 exempt from this ordinance, but also their fee is waived if they apply? What happens when the theater teacher or parent volunteers ask for sponsors for next year's play? Are they going to be fined? We have Celebrate Plainfield Day and have extra booth space. Am I going to be fined if I call or walk next door to see my sister and ask her if her small business wants to engage with that booth? Why did the board wait until the very beginning of municipal election season, where it could be a peak time to canvass and the license can only be used by one person who applied? That would impact every candidate or supporter by every RTC, DTC, and those who are unaffiliated or not endorsed by a major political party, mean they don't have that major donor money. And that would flood the police chief with application. If we look at how the police chief approves these, and I'm not saying this would happen, has the ability to deny a license based on any of those criteria that I mentioned, or anything that's on that application, like the color of someone's skin, or if I sold him a scratch CD from the trunk of my car in 1998. These are silly questions in nature, but they speak to a deeper issue with not only the ordinance language, but the possibility of an unspoken motivation and intent behind the ordinance. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes. Mary Landry, Lusa. Just plain and simple, we couldn't afford to give the police department the red dot laser. We couldn't afford to give them their tasers, but we can afford a forensic audit. I would like that explained at some point in time tonight during this meeting, please. Thank you.
I have a question. Audrey Lemieux, Moose of Connecticut. Why a forensic audit on the police department only? What about every other department? Maybe that should be looked into instead of picking only on the police. Because every time we have a budget problem in the town, it seems that the town takes away from the police department first to help manage their finances. So I'm just curious.
Naomi Smith, Plainfield, Connecticut. I'm in agreement with the crowd tonight. I don't understand why publicly you've expressed twice, Mr. Cunningham, that the payroll issue at the Plainfield Police Department has been resolved, but yet you're still going through with a forensic audit and utilizing taxpayers' dollars to do that, and we're not having a forensic audit of the finance department in the town of Plainfield, especially after I've sat in many Board of Finance meetings and many Board of Selectmen meetings and seen some things, especially lately with reconciliations of line items without the authority of the Board of Finance. Those things cannot continue to keep happening. Procedures are not being followed, and it's not by the Plainfield Police Department only. So I think this is very discriminatory. I think it's targeted. And I think if Ms. Vachon wants a forensic audit of the Plainfield Police Department, she should step up and allow one to be done in her department as well.
Anyone else? Okay, hearing none, we'll go on to the old business item E1, review the three proposed ordinances as second readings, 143, 144, 145.
Okay, well, this is a second reading, the last one was a third reading. They're still in draft.
You were saying you didn't want it to be done like that, this would be the second reading. What would you like to say?
I would like to say that we need to have a final draft before you go to saying that you want to, that we should be having a reading, and we should be reading it into the minutes. Because these guys don't know, they don't have any idea what those ordinances.
No.
They have no idea what these three ordinances do, or say, or are. There's drafts. You can't vote on something that's a draft. You have to have a final proposal, read it to the public, and you vote on it. Last time I looked.
ask me what there was.
Last time we do stuff properly. Last time, you should read it you should read it out to the public, but it has to be not a draft, it has to be the final copy, not something we're still working on.
Until you actually make it an actual ordinance, it's always gonna be a draft.
And it still hasn't been written. Still hasn't
And
been.
you don't have to read it out
I'm
loud
not
to the
saying,
public.
just
Public is
because you
already
don't
asked.
have to doesn't mean you shouldn't.
The public has asked for copies, I've given copies. What we have to do is be able to push this over to the town for a public informational meeting, let them read through the whole thing, let them have their input, and then be able to go forward with modifications or not modifications, then a vote.
Well, part of this says, and because you still don't know, because we haven't read it, part of this says that anybody who makes a telephone call within the town of Plainfield for soliciting sales, subscriptions, information, business, or of any kind. Chief, how are you gonna enforce that? If I call you, ask you to make a donation, or you call me, someone calls me and says, make a donate, would you like to make a donation to some charity that the police department is doing, which doesn't happen, but I'm just asking. How are you gonna enforce my phone call? How are you gonna find me for that phone call? Or during political season, when we're calling up our voters, how are you gonna enforce that? How is that possible? Also, this email you have to the chief since August 26th was the latest draft of it. I just got it when I walked in the door. So I don't, Chief Arriaga, I don't know. I know you've written this. I've seen your name attached to it, but I've had no time to review it. I've had no time for anything. And you just handed it to me again. Just like the last meeting.
If there was a substantive change and the chief wanted to make a change, I would see that, but he's agreeing with everything that was done in the past.
He has some substantive things to say here.
He's
On
answering.
insurance, he has some things to say on the charitable nonprofit. Would have been nice to be able to do this and this and say, well, this is what the chief says, this is what he thinks. It happens all the time. Last meeting, I had a 6-inch packet that I got 10 minutes before the meeting, so.
Would you like to read each and every ordinance? Go ahead.
I would like to have it in final form before we go to the draft. You're still, at the last meeting, you said we're still working on it.
Let me ask the chief, if you don't mind. You went through all of these questions that were brought up at the last public informational meeting, and we talked about them via the email. What we have in draft format from the last time, do you see any need to make any further changes? If so, what would they be?
I don't know if there's a need to make further changes. The only thing I would recommend is the attorney to review it like you had it reviewed prior to.
So if you'd like to read that into the record, go ahead, please do.
I'd like the final draft to be read into.
So this is the final draft at this point. If we bring that to the attorney, that's fine.
Bring it to the attorney and then read it to the people. Because what you're reading right now, the attorney can say, this isn't right, this isn't something you can do. If the attorney hasn't looked at this, and we also have a thing in the town clerk's office for ordinances, am I wrong? That they look, we're in the process of
We're in the middle of a codification process, yes.
Right, exactly. Can we now use them?
Absolutely.
Have we done that?
We cannot get to that step until we go through all the steps of the town.
Okay, so they can't do these ordinances?
They can't codify an ordinance that's not on record. It
Right.
has to be adopted by the town before we can codify something.
So what if we adopt something that isn't correct? It's against state statute or?
Well, that's why I would echo what the chief says, and we go through the attorney first, have the attorney look at everything, and then we move forward. This is basically step one in a big process. You know, once you guys approve it, it would then go to a town meeting. There's several steps that we would get to before we actually would implement this. Because the town would have to vote on it ultimately and decide if they wanted to have that.
Well, the town's going to have to decide whether they want to be able to make town phone calls within the town without the chief coming to their door.
Who is that?
First page, right here. Hi there. It says, part of it says, any solicitor or
What's it
canvasser.
under?
It's under solicitor or canvasser, it's the first page.
Oh, yeah, no, I see.
Okay, this is what this part of it says. I can read the whole thing, but we'd be here a lot, which is fine. If before anything's done, we should read it. But any says solicitor or canvasser, any
shall go from place to place, or who shall call at a residence either in person or by telephone within the town of Plainfield without the prior consent. Anybody's cell phone want to be ringing? Without the prior consent of the occupant for the purpose of soliciting sales, subscriptions, information, business, or business of any kind.
It's kind of a little too broad.
Okay, so, Peggy. Oh, we're still drafting this.
Yes.
So can we just scratch that?
I don't have a problem with scratching it.
Right? I agree with you. I didn't see that before.
I just think it's,
But how can you regulate telephone
you
calls?
can't regulate telephone calls.
Door to door, yes. Place to place.
Door to door is a little different, and even at that, I think we've, anybody under 18 years old, it says in one of the parts in here, it says anybody under 18 years old. My concern with that is, what if an adult has a child and they want to sell stuff? And they get the child because he's under 18.
Yeah.
The child's under 18, and you're not going to let a child under 8, well, some we do it, but a lot of kids under 18, you're not going to let them go out solicit whatever for themselves. There's going to be an adult with them. How do you know that that under 18-year-old, the adult's not soliciting, and it's the child he's using as a front? Am I wrong? I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with this. The other thing.
Well, this is what we're doing. It's
Yeah,
trying to straighten it out, right?
Yeah.
That's why they're drafts.
That's
why you don't read it each
exactly.
time to the
I
public
would read
because
it
you're
each
confused.
time, but I would like to. We've been reading
Get your
this.
inputs,
We've been
right?
doing this for like a lot of meetings now.
Last meeting, we found out when somebody brought up the certificate of insurance.
That was
The chief just emailed, he says that's not a good idea. Because I had time to read it between the pension board and this board meeting, I read his email
It's
to
been
us.
since August 25th.
So-
The chief wrote that on August 25th.
Okay, we received it tonight. I still read it. I had 13 minutes between the meetings, I read it.
I had the thought of it, that it's okay to read all this information in the amount of time. You can't make an informed decision like that, you just can't. And then on the other part of that, where it says, I mean, I agree with having like someone selling, not lemonade stands by the way, but I agree that they should have a permit. I totally agree with that. You should have a permit, there's a process to go through. We need to make sure that people aren't selling blow-up toys on our beaches, okay? We gotta make sure that they're doing the right thing. But I don't think we should be adding the soliciting by phone and stuff like that. So that definitely needs to go. I'm really worried about the Boy
You
Scouts.
have this in your hands for, I don't know, 6 weeks. Are there other items that you have reviewed and don't like or want to make changes to?
145, I don't have a problem with. The open burn ordinance, I understand completely because it's the last time that we, when we were in a high, I don't know what the police.
Red warning.
Yeah, red warning. Okay, you gotta have something because you don't want people just burning willy-nilly. We were in a red warning and I went down some of the streets in town and some of the people had pretty big fires. So that one, I'm totally in agreement with. I would also like to clean up on the part that says exemptions. I would like to clean that up a little bit because that's very, very vague.
On which one? 144?
On 143. That, I would like to clean that up. Where the exemptions are. It's, the wording of it's not real great. So I'd like to add exemptions to that. This ordinance shall not apply to roadside agricultural sales, and there's verbiage for that, prearranged delivery, she also sent it to me. I have copies if you'd like.
Yes, please.
It's an ordinance that she, she does something like this for a living. She did a really good job with it. It cleans it up. It looks a lot more professional. I'm not saying it's gotta go line for line, because I still don't like the part where it says soliciting subscriptions, information, and all that. But where it says exemptions, it cleans it up quite nicely. It's a little better than what we have in this draft here. Where's the next one? I think the ordinance is way too broad on the local areas. And I said that last time.
What I would suggest is to make the modifications either handwritten or in electronic format, give a copy to the chief so we can review and see what might or might not work, and then we talk about this ordinance on the next meeting.
That's fine with me.
I'll just bring up one that Trav Marvin brought up. As far as the recreational purposes, getting permission from the official.
If I go up to the
Yeah, open burn, 144. And on 143, I'd have to listen to all the comments again anyway. There's too much said tonight about it. And give us another four.
Well, yeah, it's basically that, what I gave you is, it mirrors what we have to a point.
Okay.
And it cleans up the language really well, and it makes it direct. You don't have any questions on what it is you're trying to say on some of the stuff. But I am totally against the part where it says, shall call at a residence either in person or by telephone with the town of Plainfield without the previous consent of the occupant for the purpose of soliciting subscriptions, information, business of any kind. Please, the chief has enough to do without chasing these people around. And I don't think it's enforceable anyway. They haven't had, yet, chief, you haven't been able to stop my cell phone from ringing like 17 times a day, so I doubt you're going to be able to do it in the town of Plainfield.
So, yeah, I don't know what to do about that, except...
And I did want to just clarify when you had asked me if they would codify it. Once we get to a step where that we would be presenting it to the town and for an informational meeting or something like that, at that point in time, that's where I would probably send it over to them.
Before or after?
Probably before. It would be a working document in that format. But they're not going to help us write any ordinance.
No, I didn't think they would. I just want to make sure it's not against any statutes that we...
Yeah, so at this current state, I think it's too early to submit because it's just so, it hasn't made its way down the pipeline yet. But once we get to that step where we're about to send it off to an informational meeting or to a, that, at that point in time, I'd be uploading documents over to them, but we're too fresh in the process to start that.
Diane?
Yeah.
Anything out of E-code that we send to them does come back to a town meeting though, correct?
Correct.
So
Correct.
we would have two
takes a
town
long
meetings
time.
on this. Essentially, a public hearing,
It
town meetings,
depends on
send
timing.
it to E-code, and then back to a town meeting once they, if there's corrections, I would assume.
Once it's codified, it's codified.
Right.
So it's.
But they could
it's-
make changes. So, they did say that, they could
During
make
the
changes.
codification process, they could. And then we would go to town meeting and adopt the new code.
Mhm.
Once it's codified though, anything additional that you add to it, so any new ordinances is just going to be added in. They're not gonna go back and do a whole codification process. That's on the town to, submit something that's.
So catching these while they're still in the process of codification?
Yes, but
is-
you
is
really have to
better.
have something that we're presenting to the town before I would submit it to them.
Oh, sure.
Right, that is not a draft.
Well, yeah, we would,
Right.
I would need something a little bit more set in stone before we start sending that back on.
You guys go to return to verify anything to start off with. Again, only suggestion would be, Diana, if you wouldn't mind, if all of us could funnel the information, questions, concerns to you, because you're gonna be holding ordinances eventually, and then we can share that, because it's, the chief, you and I look at this anyway,
Yeah.
go over modifications.
I believe, it does take a long time to get this right. I'm happy to see that it is a long process, because that means a lot of eyes have been looking on these things for a long time. There's no quick judgment calls here. It's not going to be perfect first, second, third time around. It's definitely taking a while to get things to be the right way, and I commend those that have been working on it.
So 143, we do have some requests to take a look at the draft changes. We do want to take a look at 144 for at least one of them, and 145. Any questions on 145?
No problem, 145.
So that'll be in the wait until we get the other two ready to go.
Okay.
All right, so we'll continue on with that one.
I'll listen to public comments about
Yeah.
142.
Take advice on that. So there's no motion because we're going to continue for the readings. Item for new business F1, consider an act on tax refunds requested by the tax collector totaling $416.77. You have engineered component products LLC 253.76, Roland M. Allard 601, David E. Kettle 106.16, David Lucio 29.18, and David B. Mitchell 21.66. Should be a grand total of $416.77.
Make a motion to approve the tax refunds in the amount of $416.77.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 2, discuss an act on a change order from the front ramp. We actually have two in your possession. So change order number 1 is to furnish and install required PVC piping fittings and pipe bedding for 4 to 6 and 8-inch PVC piping for the fittings and the pipe. Purchasing materials and added labor, $3,030.55. What is your pleasure with that?
My pleasure is when this came out to bid, Joe, you didn't know that you needed this stuff, or was there something you found afterwards that you knew that didn't include?
No, the plans for that front entrance are absolutely horrific. They didn't put any gutter drains in. Years ago there was gutter drains, but they were all collapsed and filled in, so I suggested they put gutter drains in. I did already put the gutter drains in. Whether you guys choose to pay me or not is up to you.
Because you want to do the job right.
But
So this
and
is-
then it also, goes to number 2. Our gutter drains go from up to an 8-inch pipe because of the amount of water that's coming off the roof. But right now, that 8-inch pipe is reduced down to 4-inch to meet existing drains that are there, which defeats the purpose of the 8-inch pipe. That can't handle the water that's coming off the roof now. So that's where the second one goes to do.
So that'll correct all of it?
Yeah, yep.
So the 4-inch, come from the 4-inch to 8-inch to the ground, out to the,
4 to 6 to 8, and then we'll carry that 8 out into the parking lot, down to a catch basin and dump it there.
and that will stop it from backing up and having some of the problems we had before?
Copy that.
And I got another question. This didn't need to go, the front ramp, it didn't need to go before planning and zoning?
No, because it wasn't a substantial change to the building. It was something that was already up there. We had the ramp before. So no, it did not.
Okay. That's my question, because it looks like a whole different ramp than what we had.
So the second one, we probably do both at the same time. The second one is for an additional $77,1042 to furnish and install required SDR 35 PVC piping fittings and PVC bedding. The grand total, and that total was again for $77,1042. The grand total for the two changes would be $10,740.97.
I'll make a motion to approve the change order in the amount of $10,740.97.
And I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Item 3, discuss discuss and approve honorary proclamation for the National Adult Education Family Literacy Week. This request was given to us, and I think it's an appropriate proclamation where we're talking about the National Adult Education Family Literacy Week, which is September 15th through the 19th, 2025. Whereas more than 43 million Americans can't read and write most basic level, 62.7 million lack the basic math skills, as well as the credentials and skills necessary to succeed in post-secondary education. And whereas in Connecticut, there are 174,269 working age adults from 16 to 84 without high school credentials, and whereas in Connecticut, there are 210,603 adults who do not speak English well or at all, and whereas in 23-24, Connecticut's adult education program provided support for just under 20,000 adult learners, and whereas the American Action Forum estimates that America is short an estimated 7.5 million private sector workers across skill levels, and whereas adult education programs contribute to solving these challenges by helping Americans move along the continuum in their educational journey and achieve a basic skills to get prepared for a career in college, and whereas adult education in Connecticut offers low-cost, high-value programs in every community focused on providing a high school credential, citizenship training, English as a second language, digital literacy, and workforce development skills designed to elevate the economic self-sufficiency of our citizens, and whereas the state of Connecticut celebrates Adult Education and Family Literacy Week is a proud participant in the National Educate and Elevate campaign, which helps our citizens learn all about adult education options to obtain their professional and personal goals. Now, therefore, I, Kevin Cunningham, First Selectman, proclaim September 15th through the 19th, 2025 as Adult Education and Family Literacy Week in the state of Connecticut. So I would ask that you motion to approve that proclamation.
Make a motion to approve the honorary proclamation for the National Adult Education and Family Literacy Week.
And I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Discuss and act on the forensic audit and operational review of the police department payroll, procurement practices and procedures, and asset forfeiture of financial accounts. What you have been given was the information for those. We had 11 bid openings. And of the bid openings, you have a list of those groups. And then the recommendation from review of the finance director on what you have in front of you, which is Carr, Riggs, and Ingram.
What was that from?
I'm sorry, I didn't get you the info, but it's Carr, Riggs, and Ingram.
So I think my first question would be, what are your concerns with the police department as far as what they, what you see that they're doing wrong, or what you suspect they're doing wrong, or what, all of it?
Well, you want to go back and take a look at all of the payrolls that reviewed back to see what the issues were, and that was something that was brought up.
So with the payroll, it seemed to be a issue with the finance director not understanding how police do payroll, and the payroll system that we have not matching what their needs were.
Well, that's your opinion.
That is my opinion, and I've been doing HR for 47 years, and when I listened to the chief at one of the meetings, and from what you've explained on a couple of occasions, it doesn't seem to be raised to a forensic audit over payroll issues. Payroll issues are not forensic. Forensics are money. Payroll is money, but it's only time money, paying your people. It's not the police department's doing something wrong. And also, nobody in this town is going to remember that this is a nothing burden. Nobody's going to remember that. All they're going to remember is that the police department had a forensic audit. Nobody remembers what later. They don't remember that it came of nothing. All they remember is the accusation. And that's baloney. Absolute baloney. What are your concerns?
going back, as I mentioned before.
Other than payroll?
Payroll and all the things that surround payroll. That includes everything you see in the actual documentation that you have a copy of.
Yes.
So those things should be all looked at. I mean, it all ties into what payroll is, payroll and
Yeah.
paying
So let me go here. You and the finance director, the police department send you their payroll. The police department have in the past, up until recently, so we gave them full access to the payroll, even though we don't trust them. Let's start with that. The police department sends you all contracts, not contracts, but all purchasing, everything. You have to approve, you and the finance director have to approve all checks, correct? All payment?
Or payouts,
Like, if they purchase something,
as far as we know, correct?
as far as you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you had any problems with their purchasing?
I don't understand where you're coming from with this. Why don't you give me-
Forensic audits, you want their payroll and you want everything forensically done, which is their purchasing. Right in the thing, it says right in the car, right here. The scope goes back 5 years. You want to request and understand in this packet that you gave me, which is only for the first one, by the way, it's not for the other 10. It says, understand their perspective of financial records and their processes and their controls. All right? Understanding of the perspective of financial records, processes, controls, transactions, they're getting approved by you and the finance director. Am I wrong?
Of the information that we were given, correct. I mean, again, the previous payrolls, in some cases, were done via paper.
Of all the years, how long have you been at Selectmen? 6 years?
6 years right now.
Okay, in the 6 years you've been Selectmen, before you got a vote of no confidence, and before they took that vote, was this a concern? Was any of this a concern before that?
I think all of it's concerned because you're getting
Was
via
it?
paper.
I'm asking you if it was a concern. Okay, it was a concern before that. Did you go to the, hold on, there's a process to go through here. Did you, when you had that concern, did you go to the police commission and say, we have this concern with these things that are going on?
Never.
No.
Did you?
Peggy, we've been talking about this for a long time. We had a meeting
Excuse me, no, you never
Excuse
came
me.
to the police commission.
This is a
But
Board of Selectmen meeting.
you've been talking about it to who? Who did you talk to about your concerns, other than maybe the finance director? Between you-
Finance director, we've also had multiple meetings on this. We just had a meeting a little while ago and we talked about it. We included the discussion of forensic audit, and there was no problem at that point.
There was a problem at that point at the last selectman meeting, because I said I didn't.
I didn't say
Okay.
select committee.
So you've had meetings, private meetings that nobody was involved in, other than the people that you wanted to involve.
What are you getting at, Peggy?
I'm not getting at anything, I'm just saying it smells like fish. If it smells like a fish, it's a fish.
We sat down with the police department, the chief.
Mhm.
Okay,
And you
we sat
gave them
down-
access to the payroll.
Can I finish?
Go right ahead.
We sat down with the police chief, we sat down with the admin, Katie, we also sat down with members of the police commission. And we talked about some of the issues that we're having.
At no point we discussed forensic
Again.
audit at that meeting.
We're asked,
I'm sorry.
Did you
I'm
resolve?
not gonna sit here and listen to lies, Kevin.
Kevin, did you
at the
resolve?
end of the meeting, we actually talked about forensic, and the chief said he had no problem with it.
Oh, now we're going there.
Oh, man.
This is what I'm talking about, right
This
here.
is on camera, you're lying.
I'd like to
My
continue
point,
the conversation.
yes, now my point in the whole thing is, if you
Why
have
are
these
people in this
issues,
room that were at that meeting?
why is nobody in this room aware of it? Not the general public, I understand.
We were at the meeting and that didn't.
Why is the commission, why is
June, I
you,
hope you post this before the election tomorrow.
well, Travis got it live, so you're all set.
Good.
But my point, that's not the point, the point is, if there was a concern, if there was a problem, you go to the commission. If you have a problem with planning and zoning, you go to the planning and zoning commission. This is why we have them.
When you're wrong, just man up and say sorry and be wrong.
There's a process, and you didn't follow it, and you haven't.
Where's the process, Peggy?
The process is go to the police commission and bring your
The
concerns to them.
process is documented and written. We had a sit-down meeting with those people. We
And-
tried to work it out.
Yes, and at the last meeting, you gave them, was it, when you had a sit-down meeting with the police chief and the admin admin and all that, okay? Did you resolve the payroll issue?
We thought we would go to the next step, which we were trying to. It's step by step thing. It isn't like you go to a meeting and you fix everything right there at that meeting. It doesn't happen like that. You still have to go through the payroll.
The beginning of this conversation was you had a problem with payroll. Then you jump in, now you want a forensic audit, which means you want to go through everything, which I don't have a problem with, but I think it should be the whole damn town.
Well, if you don't think there's a problem with it, then why aren't we talking about voting on it?
I think there's a whole problem with it. I don't think we should have it. We just cut these guys over $100,000 at the last budget. But now you want to spend $35,000 to have an audit.
They're the only department, Peggy, they were the only department that got cut?
I mean, no, there was other departments, but you want to spend $35,000 more when you cut their budget and they're living with 15-year-old tasers? I think there's a better way to do this. I think there's a better way to sit down and talk and be in the room and not say one thing when you're sitting in front of them and do another later. You gotta sit down. It's ridiculous that we're gonna tear the town down in the next 6 months. It's gonna take years to get that reputation back. And these boys are never gonna be right. They're never gonna be right. They protect your home and your life.
Thank you.
Questions?
I have plenty, because there's so much said. I'm just not ready to ask them. I'm gonna have to watch this. There's so much said. There's so many questions that I
And
need
you'd
to
like to
formulate
We'd like to get some answers too.
and get some information.
Mm-hmm.
Can we table this item?
It's up to you to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to table this item until I get more information on this.
And I'll second it.
Any other discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 5, discuss and endorse partnership with the Discovery Group, Mr. Jason Sisto, for the redevelopment of the former InterRoyal Mill property through DECD Municipal Brownfield Grant Program. You have in your packet item 5. So we're waiting for the continuation of this, so we're looking for status of approval for the state of Connecticut DECD. You see, as you have in your packet there, at a duly called and held meeting of the Plainfield Board of Selectmen on September 8th, 2025, the board reviewed and discussed entering into a partnership with the Discovery Group and Mr. Jason Sisto for the redevelopment of the former InterRoyal Mill property through DECD Municipal Brownfield Grant Program. Upon completion of the deliberations and consideration of the qualifications as proposed scope of the work by the Discovery Group and the Board of Selectmen hereby formally approve and endorse the Town of Plainfield's partnership with the Discovery Group, Jason Sisto, for the planning, coordination, execution of the former InterRoyal Mill redevelopment. This approval reflects the board's commitment to the safe, effective, and timely redevelopment of the site at 20 Reservoir in alignment with the local, state, and federal guidelines. The town acknowledges the Discovery Group's role as a key partner in supporting the successful transformation of the property for the future benefit of the community and economy. This status of approval is issued as a formal acknowledgement of the town's support and cooperation in all forthcoming phases of the project approved by Plainfield Board of Selectmen.
So this is for the partnership to, are they gonna buy it?
What we did was we put a application in with Jason Sisto. He gave the plans to the state DECD along with our application for cleanup. So we'd like to do that continued partnership. The idea is eventually he will take it.
But there's nothing in writing saying we will do this.
Right.
This isn't a quid pro quo, we're gonna be a partner with you, and at the end of the day.
Nope. It helps us to actually go for the DECD Municipal Brownfield Grant.
Okay. Because at the end of the day, right, this isn't a.
No, it's not a.
It's not something we're saying, okay, you help us, we'll help you, and at the end you can have property. It's just a partnership, correct?
Correct.
Excuse me, am I allowed to ask a question?
No. So.
Never.
I'll make a motion to endorse the partnership with Discovery Group Jason Sisto, the redevelopment of 4 InterRoyal Mill property, the DECD Municipal Brownfield Grant Program.
Okay, I will second that. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carries. I will mention one item. Item number, well, it's not on this agenda, but we have a supposed meeting on the informational meeting we have scheduled for the 10th. We are not going to be able to hold that meeting because we just don't have access again to the front ramp. So it can't be anything.
It's not even on the town website. Nobody knows about the meeting. We've had that scheduled since last special meeting. The date for the 11th was before that.
Because I was holding off to see if we had.
I know, but people are, their time is money. They should
So
know
what's your
about this.
suggestion then, Patty?
My suggestion is having put it on the town website, because there's still one coming up for the 24th that's still not there.
I don't even know if we're gonna have that.
But you're not, it's okay not to know, Kevin. It's okay. But you can at least tell people that it's gonna be there. Okay, so we might not be able to do it because of the ramp, but Joe's gonna make sure we got that ramp.
I would have had the ramp open for tomorrow, I would have put temporary ramp.
I know, I'm only kidding. But anyway, do the
You
best.
can do that,
But my point is, the meeting for the 11th, which we accidentally scheduled on September 11th, we went back and changed it to the 10th. We've known about that for the last 10 days. On the 24th, we knew about the meeting for the sale of the ECC on the 27th. That's still, you guys don't know that. I put it on my page today because you don't know that. Your time is important. It is worth it. You get to schedule your time, and you can't tell a town meeting that you don't know anything about till 2 days before. Am I wrong? And I know we might not be able to have it, but my suggestion is put it on the town site, and then you can cancel it if you can't have it. But at least let people know that we're gonna have it, or you wanna have it.
Tomorrow morning is September 24th, will be up on the town website.
It should have been up on the website last week. Or at least you guys don't know about the 24th.
Did you actually move the 9/10 meeting, or you're canceling?
I'm going to have to speak with the town clerk tomorrow morning and talk about this cancellation of that meeting.
Which was never posted. Can you cancel the meeting that was never posted?
We can properly put it up as a cancellation.
But you never posted it, so how was it a cancellation?
And we are going to put it up as a cancellation. Because that way we can actually use that to go to our next board select meeting and figure out when the next date will be. Anything else? Other than this, I did receive an email from a resident. And the email was concerning the possible sale of the ECC building, and to which I was posed a question, just wondering how is it appropriate for the Board of Selectmen to have a meeting and then to vote to sell the town-owned building and then hire a real estate company prior to getting the approval from the resident as clearly stated in the town charter. Any thoughts? Seems like putting the cart before the horse. I would have included Art, but not sure about his email address. Sincerely, Louisa Tricus. And we talked about this before. We talked about how you can't bring something to the table, but we want to sell a building without knowing who the person is or who the groups are, and then how much they're looking to buy the building or whatever property's for. Can't do that. So at this point, we were looking to see if we even got any offers for it. Then we're having I'd like to have a public information meeting on that on the 24th. That would allow the two different applicants to give their presentation at that meeting, allow for public comment to be made on it, and then just, again, this is a public informational meeting only. So really can't even bring something forward until you have an opportunity for a sale. So it's not so much, I mean, that's a fair question, but it's not written that way in the charter, so I would disagree with this person about that. I also didn't think it would be appropriate for people who were, first of all, you weren't included on the email, and you weren't included on the email, And this person should have known where to find that information because it's all public information on the town website, on our board. All your emails are right there. So, but the other piece of that is that they're, kind of making it political because they're putting other people on that email. I didn't think that was appropriate at all.
Who are the other people on the email?
Oh, let's see, Paul Sweet, Mike Supernaut, Tom Stinkowitz.
Kevin Cunningham.
Okay. That's all I had to say on that one.
Nearly as political as the rest of the crap.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
8:04.